name's Robin Sharma, author of the 5 a.m. Club and the Everyday Hero Manifesto, and it's relatively early morning on Via dei Condotti here in Mr. Riley's Rome. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to take you with me to some of the monuments or places that I love in this great city. By the way, I'm here in Piazza di Spagna. There's Trinita dei Monti, the famed church at the top of the Spanish Steps. And what I wanted to do was take you to a number, as I say, of my favorite places and offer you some lessons on elite performance and legendary leadership and how you can exploit deep change to your advantage and how you can grow a great company and how you can be more productive and how you can live a soaring life in these times of so much volatility. So thanks for being with me. The lesson, well, now that we're here in the Spanish Steps, the lesson I'm going to offer to you is to use a little bit of my poor Italian. It's passo dopo passo. And that simply means step by step. And I want you to look at that gorgeous staircase and look at the boat monument behind me. But I want you to think about evolution versus revolution. How do you build a great company? How do you build a great life? It's day by day. It's step by step. All too often, we forget that it's what you do every day, not what you do once a year, that makes the profound difference. And consistency is the mother of mastery. And it's all those little small wins and micro triumphs, that concept I've been teaching for over 20 years, that stack into huge gains. Remember my brain tattoo: small daily, seemingly insignificant improvements when done consistently over time lead to stunning results. So just stay monomaniacally focused on steps towards your mighty mission day by day. When it's easy, when it's hard, and you might be astonished by how far you'll get in your career, or maybe it's your art, or maybe it's your fitness, maybe it's your love life or family life, maybe it's your spiritual life. But remember those steps day by day. Those micro wins will lead you to the top of the mountain. So thanks again for being with me here on my mountain bike ride through Rome. I've got to be careful, but we are coming up to one of the most gorgeous monuments in the world. And I want you to build a career and a craft and a life that really is monumental. And I've got something very special to show you in a moment, because we're getting to, well, look behind me. It is Fontana di Trevi, and it's just about sunrise right now. Let's have a look at it. And your leadership life lesson is: exercise the patience for mastery. In this world where too many good souls are card-carrying members of the cult of mediocrity, have the patience when it comes to your work and your commitments. Look at the detail. Look at the painstaking attention to creating magic. Oh, there's a newly married couple behind me. I wish them every blessing for a great life and a happy life, but I want you to just look at that monument. And you know, right now it's easy to put out a lot of content or put out a lot of work, but please be in the business of putting out only masterwork. And that requires focus in this age of dramatic distraction and broken focus syndrome. It requires commitment. What a beautiful word. Requires patience, requires a strong character, requires a deep work ethic. And back when, in ancient Rome, when they would produce monuments like this, it was all about the pride of the creator and his devotion to producing something that would be legendary. And that's the lesson that you and I can take from Trevi Fontana. Let's keep going. All right, the next site we are going to share together is a very special one. Next lesson for you as a leader without a title, and extraordinary producer who makes the world a better place is make sure you invent and iterate and optimize. So we're going to the Pantheon. That is an architectural marvel that they didn't think would be possible, but the way the architects and engineers constructed it, they got it done. By the way, that's your pro tip. Leaders don't make excuses, and they don't complain, and they don't blame. They just get the job done. You're in the business of finding solutions to difficult problems. That's what you get paid for. That's what leaders do. Okay, here we are at the Pantheon. Pretty amazing. Aren't you glad you came with me on a ride through Rome? And you know, in the ancient days, there was a slave called the Auriga. And the Auriga had one job. It was to whisper into the ears of the military commander called the Dux, memento homo, which is just remember you're only a man. And the lesson of that story, oh, another wedding behind me. Wow, it's a good day here in Rome for love, I guess. But the lesson behind that story is remember you're just a human. And don't fall in love with your success, because when you're at the top, there's only one way to go. And the moment you fall into the trap of hubris as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a human being, and lose that white belt mentality, and you stop being humble and out learning and out working and out preparing and out innovating everyone around you, is the moment you're on the path to obsolescence. So the Pantheon is going to remind you to always be optimizing, always be learning, always be growing, and stay humble, and maybe even a little foolish, to paraphrase Steve Jobs, who paraphrased the whole Earth catalog. Okay, just a few monuments left. Hope you're enjoying it. Okay, cool cat. Thanks for hanging with me, and I'm bringing you to my favorite place in Rome. And often when I'm on a trip and I land, this is one of the first places I come to, and I just breathe in the sights. But check this out. I'm in Piazza Navona, and there's Bernini's Four Rivers behind me, and there's the Church of Piazza Navona. When I was writing the 5 a.m. Club, I'd actually come to this square after a day of intense writing, and I would look at that marvelous piece of art from Bernini, and it would rejuvenate and refuel me and remind me of the importance of just getting the work right. And just look at that. But the lesson here in this marvelous, marvelous square, as you can see, is seek beauty. And I think the world needs you to do the work that brings your soul alive. And you've got to have the guts and the bravery and the wisdom to find it. But seek beauty in your craft. Remember, a job is only a job if you see it as a job. See your work, no matter what it is. You sweep streets, you make pizza, you run a company, you lead a nation, you serve a family, whatever it is that you do, you code, or you're an architect, or you're an engineer, or you're a startup entrepreneur, whatever it is you do, push beauty out into the world. And also seek beauty in your life. I mean, what's the point of getting to the apex of your domain and having missed out on seeing the kind of moonlit sky I saw last night in Rome? It was a full moon, and I just stood on the terrace of my hotel room and I just savored it. If you look at the research of positive psychologists like Sonia Lyubomirsky, they will tell you the happiest people have one habit in common, and it's savoring. They don't just drink the coffee and wolf it down. They savor it, and they savor beauty. They savor great art. By the way, spend a lot of time in art galleries. That's communing with the magic of the creator or the artist, and that stardust will rub off on you. Anyway, seek beauty in all forms. And the pro tip is really, you can't inspire the world if you're not inspired yourself. So make the time to protect your inspiration and to fill the well of your inspiration by great books, great conversations, great food, great art, great travel, great thoughts, great feelings, great service. Okay, one last place, and then we're gonna wrap this video up. Well, I just couldn't leave without showing you Piazza Navona just past sunrise. By the way, there's a restaurant right there, and there's an interesting story I read about in the Financial Times. In the middle of the pandemic, all the other places were closing because of the virus, and they were saying that there was no opportunity, no possibility. But that, if you look at the green awnings, that restaurant, I believe, was two brothers. They said, we're going to pivot and protect, and we're going to redo our menu, and we're going to make it perfect for locals. And they had an interesting space and interesting branding, and they were full with locals, with Romans through the pandemic. That there's an important leadership lesson there, which is sometimes the solution is right in front of you, even if you can't see it, but please be a solution hunter. Anyway, talking about beauty though, look at this. Okay, I'm going to take you to my last favorite place in Rome. Well, I'm a little out of breath. I just climbed the hill up to the park, Villa Borghese. And before I show you the final monument, just as the sun perfectly comes over it, isn't that so perfect? But I want to say buona mattina, sono molto felice a vederti, which is just my broken Italian way of saying good morning, and I'm really happy that you joined me, and I'm happy to see you. And trying to learn Italian at almost 60, you've got to keep exercising the neuroplasticity. You never want an old person to enter your mindset, heart set, physicality. I'm just saying, remember to stay young and hungry to learn, and never lose, as Einstein said, your holy curiosity. And I think that's so incredibly, incredibly important. I think the purpose life and the purpose of leadership in many ways is to keep playing out on the jagged edges of your highest potential. That brings me to another idea. Before I get you to, I'm looking at it right now, it's such a beautiful sight. Promise I'll show it to you. And also remember that the discomfort of growth is always less than the heartbreak for regret. I'll repeat that again because it's so important. The discomfort of growth, any kind of growth, leadership growth, productivity growth, new habits, new fitness routines, new levels of love and forgiveness and understanding, new levels of contribution. It'll bring discomfort because you're letting go, and there's almost a death of your old you for the sake of your next level of you. Anyway, here we go, last sight. And what I want to share with you here, with that marvel behind me, is faith. The temple or the church or the monument will remind you of faith. And you've got to believe in you when no one else believes in you. If you're an army of one, solo evangelizing your mighty mission, you have an idea for a screenplay or a new company or a new habit or a new way of living or making the world a better place, you've got to believe in it. You know, every visionary was initially called a kook. And if we followed the majority and thought like everyone, then we wouldn't produce anything original or unique. And so you've got to develop the faith through prayer, affirmation, meditation, daily journaling. Often I write about the man I wish to become, and I call it a PPP, pre-performance paragraph. I write about who I want to be and what I want to stand for and what I want to achieve in the day ahead, and it really works very well for me. So a paragraph in a journal. Maybe you'll build your faith by reading the biographies and autobiographies of the great women and men of the world, the people who overcame great hardship and suffering. I think of Mandela, for example, one of my great heroes, to bring light to the world. And Christopher Morley said, you can curse the darkness or you can shine a light, and I wish you would shine a light and be a great leader, no matter if you have a title or not, and honor your higher power and your greatest wisdom and your find His promise and go out there today and make the world a better place.